All right, first video of the year. So this is polynomial addition and subtraction. Make sure you have your notes out. Take good notes with me. An expression, we're going to start with some vocabulary. An expression that can have constants, variables, and exponents and can be combined using addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division is a polynomial. Okay? Polynomials cannot be divided by a variable. The variable's exponent can only be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You can keep going, but they're only positive whole numbers plus 0. Okay? And it can't have an infinite number of terms, so it cannot go on forever. These are not infinite. So, standard form of a polynomial. Let's look at two polynomials right here. So this one, the first one, is in standard form. The second one here is not in standard form. Look at these two polynomials and see if you can figure out why the one is in standard form and the other one is not. Okay, give you a second. So let's look at this first one real quick. The first one goes from, it's 4x cubed plus 3x squared minus 9x minus 7. If you look at those variables, they go from 3 to 1, because x raised to no power is just, you can assume it's 1. And then no x at all. So those go in descending order from greatest to least, and it ends with a constant. Okay. This second one still ends with a constant, but the variables go from 1, 2, and then 3. So they go in ascending order instead of descending. So they're more jumbled. So standard form is when the exponents decrease and you end with a constant. It is not in standard form if it does not decrease and end with a constant. So the first one is standard form, the second one is not. Okay, that's super important. You guys need to know standard form. Okay, a few more definitions. The part of a polynomial that are being added or subtracted, those are the terms. The terms are what are being added or subtracted. The number in front of the variable is a coefficient. So say you had like 4x squared, 4 would be the coefficient for that term. Okay. A term in an algebraic expression that cannot change because it contains no variable is the constant. Constants never change, so that should be a pretty easy one to remember. The term with the highest exponent is the leading term. Okay, it's the highest one, so it leads. The coefficient of the leading term is the leading coefficient. And then the exponent of the leading term is the degree. Okay, we'll get more into degrees in just a second. Take a second, write all those down. So now, the degree. So if it's the 0 degree, that means it's raised to the 0 power. Our highest exponent is a 0. Then it's just constant. If it's a first degree, so it's raised to the 1 power, first power, then it's a linear polynomial. Okay? Second degree is a quadratic. Third is a cubic. Fourth is a quartic. Fifth is a quintic. And anything greater than that, we just say 6th degree, or 8th degree, or 12th degree. Whatever degree it may be. Just anything greater than 5, we don't give them names. They just are stuck with 7th, 8th, or 9th, or whatever it may be. Okay? And we also name polynomials based on the number of terms. So if there's only one term in our polynomial, it's a monomial. That word's kind of hard to say, but it's a monomial. Okay? If there's 2 terms, it's a binomial. 3 terms, you can probably guess, it's a trinomial. And then anything greater than 3 is just a polynomial. And if we look at this, mono means 1, bi means 2, tri means 3, and poly means many. So those should be pretty easy to remember also. Okay, let's do some examples. So we need to simplify these and write them in standard form. Remember, standard form is when the exponents go from greatest to least. Okay? If there's an addition in between, you're just going to combine like terms. So let's look at this first example, A. So we have -1 plus 3m plus 6m to the 4th plus 6 plus 6m to the 4th again. So we have to look, let's just look for our highest exponent there. Our highest exponent there is a 4. So let's combine our 6m's to the 4th. So we have 6m to the 4th plus 6m to the 4th. Okay. Now let's look for the next highest exponent. We don't have anything to the third power, nothing to the second power. We do have 1 to the first power. We have 3m. So we're just going to add 3m. The 3m's all by itself. Okay. And then the last thing we need to add are our constants. We have -1 and we have 6. So it's going to be plus -1 plus 6. Okay. And then you see how I separated these with parentheses? Now I'm just going to simplify in each parenthesis. So 6m to the 4th plus 6m to the 4th is 12m to the 4th. The 3m stays by itself. And then -1 plus 6 is positive 5. And then that's our final answer, and we're done. It's in standard form. We don't need to worry about anything else. Cool? Let's look at example B. So let's look at this. We start with our highest exponent, and in this case our highest exponent is a 5. So it's -8v to the 5th. There's no other exponents raised to the 5th power. Then we don't have anything to the 4th. We do have 7v cubed. We don't have any other v cubes. Then we look for anything to raise to the 2nd power, which all we have is v squared. Then we're going to keep working down. Now we just have 6v. Work down one more. Now we have to add our constant. So we have -2 minus 6. Okay, and then we just simplify each parenthesis, which in this case it's super easy because a lot of these just stay the same. So it's -8v to the 5th plus 7v cubed plus v squared plus 6v and then minus 8. And you're done. Okay, because -2 minus 6 is -8. Alright? Okay, let's look at example C. So example C is a little bit different than A and B because it has a subtraction in between. So when there's a subtraction, you have to distribute that subtraction sign. So basically you change all the signs to the terms in the parentheses directly after the subtraction sign. So if we do that, I always just change that subtraction to a plus. It makes it a little bit easier for me. So if I change that subtraction to a plus, I'm going to change all the signs after. So that becomes a -1, a positive 8n to the 5th, a negative n to the 4th, and a negative 5n squared. Okay? And then we just treat it exactly like the ones on A and B, because it is exactly like those now. So we're going to start with our highest exponent power, which is n to the 5th. And then we're going to go to n to the 4th, so we have -n to the 4th minus n to the 4th. We don't have anything cubed. We have -5n squared, which is by itself. Then we have 6, and we have -1. Okay, and let's continue to simplify this down. So it becomes 8n to the 5th, -n to the 4th minus n to the 4th is -3n to the 4th. Because you can assume that there is a 1 right in front of that n to the 4th. And then -2 minus 1 is -3. Okay? And then the -5n squared stays by itself, and then 6 minus 1 is 5. Final answer, we're done. Okay, so it's just one more step than the addition ones that were right above it. Okay? Example D. So we have one subtraction sign, we have one addition sign. So we're just going to change that subtraction sign to a plus and change the signs in the parentheses directly after. Notice how I just changed the signs in the middle parenthesis. So it becomes a -x squared plus 7x cubed plus 5. Okay, and then we combine like terms. So we have 7x cubed, no other x cubes. Let's look at our x squareds. We have -4x squared, -x squared, and 2x squared. And that's it. Then our constant, we have -8, 5, and 1. Okay, then we just continue to simplify this down. We end up with 7x cubed. And then if we look at this middle parenthesis, we have -4x squared minus x squared, which becomes -5x squared, plus 2x squared is -3x squared. Then the last one, -8 plus 5 is -3, plus 1 is -2. And we're done. That's our final answer. Okay. Please remember to take the quiz, and I will see you guys tomorrow.